My dad was a photographer. Actually, he had a single lens reflex, and he took a lot of photos of the family. And so kind of naturally, when I had a family, which was back in 1968, I started with a little point and shoot, just, snapshots, taking care of family. And I was teaching soon after that, a biology teacher. And I made slide programs for my kids on tropical biology because they were rural kids that didn't get a chance to get out of the area very much. And I wanted them to see a broader view of the world. So when I went on trips, I would take a lot of photos, I'd put them together in a slideshow, and then I'd talk to the kids about tropical biology. And that was kind of good. The first big presentation to other people I did was in connection with my principal work. I was asked to go to South Africa and Zimbabwe, and I was released from school to go, but I was told by the superintendent, you've got to give a presentation to the school when you come back. So that was in 2001, and cameras were just changing. Like digital cameras were pretty new. I didn't have one, but my husband had one from the university. So I borrowed his, and I took a little point and shoot I had. I had a Canon AE1 program. I took that along as film camera. And I took a little plastic camera that I gotten from the Nature Conservancy with my membership there. I used them all. And when I came back to school, one of the people who was a little more technically literate than I put together a digital program for me with those photos. And then a few years later, I come to Green Valley, and I went to Travelog, which was being given by the Camera Club at the time in the East Center, right near where I was staying. I didn't have a place here yet, but I went to the Travelog, and I thought this is really fun, and I could contribute to that. And within a year, I was Travelog coordinator for the club. I joined the club and gave a presentation or two, and I really liked that. But what I really liked the most was the people there. It was a great way to meet people. You have friends who are with same interests you have. That went along really well. And so we moved here to the Santa Rita Springs. That was a lot of work, but fun. And I had been coached to become a Mac person, not a PC person, back when I was principal, by a teacher who did a lot of technology and a lot of art. And she said, Holly, if you like photography, you really should learn Mac computers. So I bought my first computer then, and she coached me in it. And when I got to the Camera Club, they only had PCs. So I thought, this is supposed to be a photography club, a camera club, not a computer club. And why don't they have both? So I was interested in that, and I got on the board so that I could work toward having both platforms, which was one of the things I was able to accomplish. We now keep both programs up to date, and it's great.
So what year was that?
Oh, that must have been, jeepers, 2000, whatever. It was the year a couple of years after we moved here, the year that Debbie Sinclair was president, I would think 2010 maybe. I don't know for sure. 2010 maybe. So anyway, I was on the board for a couple stints, and then I became president of the club too after Debbie. And it all stayed fun. It still has stayed fun. In fact, I remember my first talk to the board as president. I said, this is a volunteer organization. We're all volunteering here. I'm volunteering here, and the whole point is to have fun. So let's keep it that way. Let's not make this a lot of work. And of course, everybody did do a lot of work. The board was great, and everybody was doing a lot of work. It was about that time that poor Carl Sparfeld, who had been doing everything, eased out, and other people began to take the jobs, some of the jobs. No one took all of the jobs that Carl did, but we all took pieces of what Carl had done. And there was a great board to work together. You mentioned Gene Kamarmi, he was on it. I still, as president, I was still travelogue coordinator, and I needed support because I was used to being a principal where if you have a presentation, you walk into a room, it's all set up for you, somebody runs all the technology, and you walk out after the show. So basically, Phil Rock stepped up to the plate, and he did that for me. And it just was a lot of fun working with everyone. Also, for a new person to Green Valley, field trips were great. And at the time I joined, Carl was in charge of field trips and took people on all sorts of field trips. And it was a wonderful way to not only get to know the area, but get to know the different people here that were in the club that were also interested in getting to know the area more, or already knew the area and had places. I want you guys to see this. It's really a cool spot. So I went with my husband on tons and tons of field trips, and learned more about the people in the club, developed more friendships in the club, but also got to know the Green Valley, Tucson area. So that was fun. And as Carl got overburdened, I believe Sue Rock then took over field trips. And she did that for a while, and then I believe Monica was next in line. But as the camera club changed to photography club, new people stepped up to the plate to take over. So it's remained the best part of camera club is the people involved and the common interests we have. When my husband passed away, that was 2018, I found I just didn't have the energy or attention to give to the club what it needed. And so I withdrew from re-upping, from being on the board, and Danny Valenzuela took over as president. And he did a tremendous job with changing the physical structure of the club, which GVR was making us do. So,
How do you mean the physical structure?
Well,
when they started,
the layout of the club itself, the rooms that were available to us regularly, like we used to have the Anza room regularly available. Now we have Desert Hills Auditorium. So that whole thing changed, which was needed. It was needed and it was good, and Danny did a great job at it. And Paul McCreary took over Travelogue for me just before Ron passed away. So that was a big help too. But it's always people stepping up to the plate and putting their time and energy and talents into the club. It's what makes the club.
it's grown so much though since all these, and I keep hearing that. I knew I've only been in the club a little over 2 years now, but
Yeah.
we're the largest clubs, one of the largest, if not the largest club in the United States.
Yes.
That
At one
makes-
time we were close to 800. I think now we're around 600. But it's still a lot of people, and there are still a core of probably 25 to 30 that do the bulk of the work and make the club what it is.
So what's your fondest memory?
The fondest memory.
I know you've got years there, but
Oh my gosh.
that stands out to you. Something that that just put you where you wanted to be as far as your bliss is concerned.
Probably when my first few weeks as president, because you know, I was used to being a principal, so I'm used to administering a group. And I'm used to going to board meetings. I went 18 years as a principal, and when I met with the board at the time and said, this is supposed to be fun, they all stepped up and it was fun. And so it was just so good. Like, I said, you know, board meetings at the time were 2 o'clock on Mondays. And I said, does that fit everybody? Yeah, that was fine. I said, okay, but we're going to be done by 4 o'clock on Monday because this is fun. And we're not, I was used to a school board that would drag on for hours. And I said, we can't operate that way. If we're going to be fun, people need to get home in time for dinner. And if you have something to say, we'll give everybody a chance to say it. But that was, just working with those people was probably the best thing for me.
Yeah, that's great. And where we're at now, coming to the present.
Yes.
What are your thoughts of what you think might be the direction that the club could be going into? I mean, the environment in photography is changing drastically, as in video with AI and
right.
all the other things. How do you see the club maintaining its ability to keep members involved?
I think it's happening. It's been happening. It's a constant. This change has been constant. Like when I first joined the club, it was film photography. It was right around the time it became digital, very shortly thereafter. And Howard Benedict was one of the instructors at the time. And the first one I heard, the best camera is the one you have with you at the time. And of course now for people, that tends to be the camera in their phone. So that's a change that it's been coming. With AI, that's going to be a big change. I have been attending the Wildlife Special Interest Group, and we're having discussions and showing examples of what AI can do. So again, people are addressing it as it happens, and that's the club. That always happens. Even some of the older members that you would think would be out of it are not. Like Don Spear was a former president. I can't think of the year. He probably left the club about 2018. And he was in his 90s. And he was still doing presentations for Travelog to Dubai. I mean, is that modern? Yes, that's modern. And his techniques were very modern. And he was in the process of learning Final Cut Pro, which was a new program, new software. So I think that's what this club is all about, is adopting the changes that are happening. So and also keeping there are people now that are going back to film as an art form. And we can accommodate that too. We do accommodate that too. So I see it as just a vibrant club that's going to keep on being vibrant.